Yeah, where's the stuff?
I have new ones over there.
Good morning, everyone. Let's call on Francis Lewis High School Junior ROTC Color Guard once again to present the colors.
Mark time. Mark. Color. Hope. Left. Face. Please. Orange.
Can I please have Terrence Holliday to do the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we please ask Alvin Chowdhury from the Frank Sinatra School of Arts High School to do the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Very nice. Thank you.
Order. Arm. Right. Face. Forward. March.
May I ask Pastor Matthew Singh, lead pastor of New Haven Ministries Church in Richmond Hill, to offer the invocation.
As we remain standing, I want to pay honor to all of our veterans today. My brother who served 20 years in the armed forces, 1 year in Iraq, and 20 years as a correction officer has also paid. And so we honor all of you who have served. Can you just shake a hand of a fellow brother, come on, who served, as we pray. Heavenly Father, in the midst of our gathering, we lift up the heavy hearts, those who have suffered loss, and comfort those who bear the ache of absence, loved ones who have served our nation. In the midst of the pain, remind us and then of the sacrifice that is etched into the tapestry of our history, a testament to the selflessness that beats the heart of our service. May your presence be soothing balm to those who are wounded in their souls and whisper a solace in the midst of their grief. Strengthen them with the knowledge that their loved one's sacrifice will never fade, and in their memories and the legacy lives on. Surround us and surround them with your embrace, your unfailing love, and grant us the courage to carry on, holding tightly to the precious memories we all cherish. We turn our hearts towards those whose bodies bear the physical and emotional scars of battles fought in the moments of quiet struggle. Be their refuge and strength. Infuse them with the courage to face each day, knowing within their wounds lies strength born from resilience, poured out to restore power and soothing aches, granting them relief from their pain. May the journey towards healing be marked as hope, and each as a step of testament to those unwavering spirit in their moments of vulnerability. Remind us that your grace flows through their scars, revealing the beauty that arises from pain. Strengthen their resolve and uphold all of this. And we ask this in Jesus' name, and everyone say, amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. So good morning. Good morning, everyone. It is good to see everyone out here once again every year as we celebrate our veterans and the work that they do around the world still to protect us every single day. This tradition of paying tribute dates back to the 11th day of November, Armistice Day, in 1919, when we acknowledged World War I. In 54, it became the day where we honor all veterans. And as an elected official, it is my honor, and I'm very humbled at the turnout that we get every single year here at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. I want to just acknowledge the graffiti there. So this is the second time that we've had some graffiti, whether it's kids doing it, whether it's not kids, whether there's a message that's being sent. I don't know. All I know is on the way over here, I spoke to the chief of police in Queens North, and we are going to work with the Parks Department to get cameras here so that we are always having someone watch this memorial to make sure that we continue to keep it safe and clean and respectful. So I want to tell you the NYPD was very responsive and it was important. So thank you to the NYPD as well. In March, we commemorated the 50th anniversary of leaving Vietnam. In March, we also marked the 20th anniversary of the invasion of Iraq. And in July, we marked the 70th anniversary at the end of the Korean War. And on this occasion, I'd also like to take the opportunity to recognize that tomorrow is the 248th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. Hoorah! All right. I never thought in my life I would know all of them. All right. So I want to just remind everyone, we come here today and we celebrate those individuals who have given a lot to their community, as well as the fighting and as well as being veterans. I do want to remind everyone, and I say this every year, and I will continue to make it a point, that I put my kids to sleep every night in bed, knowing that there are still people all over the world who are protecting my freedom and my right to do that. And is the only reason that I can put them to bed in the house every single night, safe and sound, because I know that our military across the world is protecting us. And I just want to spend a moment and thank them for that. We do this every year in front of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. For those of you that have not joined us before, which may be one or two people in this crowd, this is a Vietnam Veterans Memorial because when I was a kid, I remember the men getting off the bus. I remember what was waiting for them here in this country. I'm that old. And I always swore to myself that one day when I get older, I will find a way to say, welcome home. And so we did this memorial. I don't remember exactly how many names are on there, but it's people who died. There's also a man named Pat Toro who is there signifying those Vietnam veterans who are still dying from disease every single day. And that's why we do it here. So that one generation is never alone again when they come home. We also have veterans treatment courts at Borough Hall now in Queens County. So you don't have to go to Manhattan in order to get services. I want to thank the borough president. I think he kept it there. So I'm very thankful for that. People that are assessed. We also have our veterans treatment courts so that if someone is suffering from PTSD or things that occur to them because they're veterans, that they can go into a veterans treatment court. I don't know if Judge Dunn is here. He normally is. He's the judge of a veterans treatment court. But if not, he is a very, good judge in that. He's a veteran and he has been a phenomenal partner. So once again, I want to thank all of you for coming today. We're going to move right along to the program. I want to thank you for your best wishes. Thank you for all of your help and support over the last 4 years. I'm now going into my 5th year as being the district attorney of this great county. It seems like a lot longer, Jen, doesn't it? It seems like a lot longer. I do want to acknowledge, am I calling up electeds first? I got it. Dan Brown, ladies and gentlemen. What am I doing first? Oh. Right now, I am told I'm supposed to bring up, I listen to Dan Brown. He gives great orders. I do want to acknowledge the executives from my staff. Jen Nyberg, Chief Assistant, is here. I want to thank her. We have Vinnie Carroll, her counsel. We have Jerry Brave, Head of Investigations, Major Crimes Investigations. We have Lieutenant Colonel Joe Connolly, not an executive, but Bureau Chief, but I wanted to acknowledge him anyway. I think that's good. That's it for executives. But we do have everybody on the DA staff. Can you just clap so we know that you're here? There we go. They do like coming out here and honoring the veterans, and I appreciate that they do that every single year. Now I'd like to ask Leonard Williams, Vietnam Veterans 32, to come up to the podium for somewhat of a special presentation, I'm told. It's rare I invite someone up without knowing what they're going to do.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or good afternoon. Is it morning or still morning? Welcome, welcome everybody that's here. It's pre-Veterans Day. It's actually the 11th of November. Before I get started, I want to thank all veterans for their service for this country, and again for my fellow Vietnam veterans, which we don't hear enough, and we never heard enough of, and now we hear a lot of it today. Is welcome home. And we're here today, a little special occasion because Dan Brown, Melinda's cohort, the go-to guy. I'm always, if I have to contact DA Katz, I have to go through Dan. I got Dan's direct number, and he answers my calls all the time. And he always, every year, it's like since I've been president of the Chapter 32, he said, Lenny, do me a favor, bring your POW MIA flag with you because we don't have one. And, so we just, every year we bring it. But this year is a little bit special, and that's why Melinda doesn't know, because we bought her a POW MIA flag. I don't want to, but we're going to take it out now.
Now we're taking it out.
We're going to take it out. All right. All right. This is her own POW from Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 32. But I want Dan not to call us anymore for whatever he needs. Continue calling us, Dan. And I got it. And that's what we wanted to do. That's why it's a little surprise. Thank you, Melinda.
Thank you, Leonard, very much. Mr. Wilson, I appreciate it very much. Dan, thank you. You were a great employee. I know. That's why you were a great employee. Dan Brown is amazing. I came to him, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, I guess had to be now. About 10 years ago, he was not originally hired to be the liaison for veterans. And I came to him one day, probably in the first few days of his employment as borough president. And I said, how would you like? He said, I would love to work with the veterans. And so he's been doing it ever since. So thank you. We now have elected officials that I would like to have say a few words. I would first going to call upon Senator Joe Adabo, a member of the Veterans Committee up in the New York State Senate. And a great advocate, but you all know that already.
Thank you. Always. Thank you, DA Katz. I want to thank DA Katz for her efforts with the veterans over the years. Certainly, her and her team, what she's done, obviously, for our veterans and protecting this memorial, because there's so much work went into this memorial, but more than that, so much sacrifice to each and every of the Vietnam veterans here and in the audience. So again, DA Katz, thank you for the cameras and again to secure this memorial. Good morning, everyone. It is truly an honor to be here as always. And as a member of the Veterans Committee for the State Senate, I want to say thank you to all our veterans here today. Thank you so much for your service and your commitment to our country. But this theme for me this year is a little bit more than just saying thank you for the service to our country, because over the years, you recognize our veterans are with us even beyond their service. They found a way that after their service to get involved in our community. They were at our street fairs. They were in our schools. They were in the marathon of a community board, right? I know community board members are here. Marathon, and they're on the board. They're so active, peer-to-peer, helping other veterans and enhancing their lives. They're such a part of our community, even beyond the military service. I truly appreciate that. But more importantly for me personally, I want to thank the veterans for educating me on what to help our veterans. Thank you for educating and working with the elected officials. As I go around this Veterans Day, I've been using a quote from Gary Sinise, an actor. He was in Forrest Gump, right? Everybody knows Gary Sinise. But Gary Sinise has been an advocate for veterans over the years. And Gary Sinise said, while we can never do enough to show gratitude to our nation's defenders, we can always do a little more. That is very true. As an elected official, I can tell you this. We try our best to try and do what we can for veterans, but we can always do a little more. With the help of the guidance of our veterans, we as elected officials can do more for our veterans. And I pledge to you this, I will work on doing more on the state level for our veterans. To our honorees, congratulations to all our veterans here. God bless you all. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless all our veterans. Thank you.
I'd like to next ask up Councilman Bob Holden, whose district we are in as well. Thank you.
Thank you, DA, and congratulations on your reelection. Well deserved, and great work, by the way. But besides all the work you're doing in law enforcement, putting the bad guys away, you've done. I think this will be your lasting legacy, creating the Vietnam Vets Memorial, and it's an honor to be in this park. And Tony Nunziato, whose brother's on the wall here, Neil Nunziato, and I fought so hard for years to get this to be a park. And that's why it's a fitting tribute that we worked together at that time, the borough president, Melinda Katz, to really do this park, and really put it on the map with this memorial. So I just want to thank him. By the way, in my new district, this is my park. It actually is in my new district. So I get chills when I think about that, because we fought so hard, and then when I came into the council, it was out of my district, a block out of my district, but still out of the district. Now I could fund it, and if we need cameras. You got the cameras already? No, I didn't say I'll pay for some of it. Yeah. But I just, well, we know how hard this was hit with the hate messages I guess it's a few years ago. It seems like yesterday, but when we came up and we saw all the graffiti over this and horrible messages. But let me just tell you, I'm the Veterans Chair of the New York City Council, and it's kind of fitting. If you think about it, I get chills when I think how it happened, because, I had my ideas. I was always involved in parks. I went to the speaker when she came in, and I said, Speaker, I'd like to have parks as a chair of parks. So I gave her a list of what I wanted. She's just doing this, and so she when I had to meet with her a few weeks later, she says, I'm giving you veterans, chair of veterans. I said, oh, okay. And so then I went home and I started to think about it. And I thought about how my mother worked with veterans her entire life almost. At the time she was 17, she wrote, she was a pen pal to dozens of servicemen who were fighting in World War II. And my mother was part of the greatest generation. She tried to enlist in the WACs when they were created in 1942. She was 17 and her mother wouldn't let her because they had just lost a family friend. And my mother grew up below Eddie Hoyt, who was the only child, and he was killed in Jacob Jones off Cape May, New Jersey in February of 1942. And she heard my mother witness and heard her mother, his mother, Eddie Hoyt's mother, crying above for months on end. And it got to her. So she wanted to enlist and her mother wouldn't let her. So she became a pen pal to so many veterans, or at least servicemen. At the end of the war, my mother was quite beautiful, I must say. She looked like a movie star, and she knew it, by the way. So because she had, I have a lot of photographs of her that she gave out she would send to servicemen. I still have a bunch of them. So my aunt told me this a few years ago. She said, you know what happened after the war? Your mom had a line around the block of veterans wanted to meet her. My dad was the lucky one. He married her, but my dad had some issues after the war. And I said this on the Veterans Committee, and I've dedicated my life to serving veterans because I wasn't fair to my dad. I really didn't get along with him because he couldn't function. He had he wasn't diagnosed as post-traumatic stress disorder, but he certainly suffered from it. And it's my uncle who served with him who told me that after my dad passed in 95, he came up to me and says, you know, Bob, you were hard on your dad, too hard. And I said, why? He couldn't hold a job. He never talked to us. My mom had to raise 4 kids, had to have 2 jobs. He couldn't function. My dad couldn't function. And I didn't know why. Why didn't I know? Because he couldn't talk about it. My uncle finally said, your dad was the greatest guy I knew, but you never met your real father. Never met him, because what we witnessed in the Philippines when we were fighting, you know, and we were trapped, and he was in the hospital unit. You know how many men died in your dad's arms? Do you have any idea? I said, no, I didn't even know you guys, you know, I didn't know you had these issues. He says, the war changed him, and it changed other soldiers. And so the chills that I got, I started thinking about this. It's amazing how things come full circles and things happen for a reason. So I kind of didn't understand it, because my father nor my uncle talked about their experience in the Philippines. They couldn't. They couldn't talk about it. Now, even some of the Vietnam vets I talked to you guys out there, and you kind of break down at a certain point because of what you've witnessed. And what this does to not only the individual who fought in combat, but also to the families. And I'm Exhibit A, because I didn't understand. I had issues with my father. And only now do I have a chance to make amends by helping veterans. And we've already done that, and I've been now almost 2 years as Veterans Chair. And I've dedicated the rest of my existence to try to help veterans. And we've actually researched new treatments for post-traumatic stress disorder, like RTM, reconsolidation of traumatic memories, which seems to be working. 5 sessions, it has been, and it's great data so far, about 85 to 90% success rate, which is unprecedented in treating post-traumatic stress. So I will fund that. The speaker has actually dedicated some money in the next budget to trying to treat our veterans, because we certainly owe our Vietnam veterans so much. I can't imagine coming back from the war and what you guys experienced and having to deal with, that the country actually, most of the population turned their backs on you. You didn't come back to parades. How many marched in parades after you came back celebrating? Not many, 1. Nobody really at that time, and I grew up in that was obviously our war, my generation's war, but it's so important to recognize the Vietnam vets and try to help them. So what we've done, we have a Borden Avenue veteran shelter. I went to Mayor Adams when I visited, and I said, you know, something's wrong here, where there's veterans on the VA side. It was divided into 2. On the VA side, they had their own rooms. On the city side of the shelter, they had to sleep in a congregate setting. And I was told by, at that time, somebody, I don't want to say who, but Mayor de Blasio's administration, that, oh, we do that because the veterans are used to sleeping out in the open like that. And I said, because they slept in barracks and everything. I said, come on, that's ridiculous. So when Mayor Adams came in, I sent him some photographs. I said, this is the thing to do. And he said, we'll get the rooms for them. And we did. It's done. It's a much better facility. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. And I see Melinda's coming with the hook, but she's itching closer. So I get it. But, you know, I'm just making up for lost time as an elected official. So got it. Anyway, thank you so much again. Veterans Day I'm looking forward. I was at Gracie Mansion this morning for the mayor's breakfast. I saw Joe Adabo there, and certainly Paul Vallone. Paul Vallone is a deputy commissioner of DVS, great partner. Served with him in the last council. We thank you. Hope you're going to stay around for a while, but we are partners, and he's an amazing asset in. And by the way, John Rowan, we thank you for your service and all your work, and Mike O'Kane in helping to get this, and every one of you who's really contributed. Thanks so much, and have a good Veterans Day. We'll see you at the parade. Thank you.
Thank you. So now that Bob took half my job, I did thank you, Bob, very much for the work. Councilman Holden for the work that you do. I'm trying to get all the honorees in before the rain. So, and Stacey Amato, Assemblywoman Stacey Amato just came. I want her to say a few words. And then Councilman Vallone, if you can just say a few words on behalf of Commissioner Hendon, and then we'll get to the honorees. Thank you.
I got the cue. It's going to rain. Good morning. My name is Stacey Pfeffer Amato. I represent the 23rd Assembly District, and I'm honored to be here. DA Katz, again, re-election, congratulations. But again, it's the work that you do. It's fighting before you, DA, for this beautiful monument. One thing I just want to say, when I was elected as the Assemblywoman, you get to pick committees. And first committee I put on my list was Veterans Affairs. I was like, yes, oh my goodness. My grandfather's Army, my stepfather is Army, my brother's, Navy Army, so it's not fun. But anyway, so the other colleagues of mine were like, what committees did you pick? And I was like, Veterans Affairs. And they were like, oh, why didn't you pick housing? Why didn't you pick labor? And I was like, why didn't you pick Veterans Affairs? And that's sort of like the mission I took on. Like, why don't we think this is the top committee that you should be working on your constituency and folks, all different ages and ranges? The only reason I'm here is because of you. For those who served, who gave us the freedom, I'm here. So I'm here to say thank you, and thank you for your service. And know that as a state legislator and a girl from Queens, we're constantly fighting for making government easier and work better for our veterans, making sure agencies speak to each other. We've just changed some things about conflict, because it's not a declared war, and to acknowledge conflicts. And we're helping that next generation. But for this generation of Vietnam vets, I want to thank you, and anything that we could do to repair what I don't think you were treated as well as you should have been, we're doing that on New York State level. I'm going to go before she comes back. Thanks, everyone. And again, thank you for your service. Oh, no, I get a message clear.
Stacey's now my favorite. All right. We have I always say Councilman Paul Vallone representing Commissioner Hendon, and then we are going to do the honorees. Councilman Vallone. Can I still call you that?
Good morning, everyone. All right. Let's hear it from Melinda Katz, our district attorney, everyone. We wouldn't be standing here in a previous life as borough president if she didn't get this done for us. Real quickly, God bless every one of you. My commissioner, James Hendon, you all know he is the first commissioner of the very first agency in the country for a city. And then when I was a council member, that was our bill, and we needed that. And you heard the words from State Senator Joseph Adavo, from Assembly Member Stacey Pfeffer Amato, from Council Member Chair Bob Holden. These are elected officials that know what veterans have done. We learn with Melinda Katz, our sister. So it is with true honor to be here for the 200,000 veterans that call New York City home, for Dr. Noah Angeles, our DBS honoree today that District Attorney chose, and all the honorees. God bless you and God bless our country. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, you're my favorite. All right, so I want to introduce our first honoree, Nicholas Walker. Nicholas Walker is a corporal, but he's also a Queens District Attorney, detective. Nicholas Walker, join me at the podium. You've already done that. Thank you very much, investigator. No problem. Nicholas Walker joined the United States Marine Corps in 1997 after graduating high school. Went to boot camp in Paris Island, South Carolina, attended the School of Infantry in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and was later selected to serve with the Marine Corps Security Forces and stationed at the Naval Air Station Patuxent River. There he provided security to the Command and Control Center for the U.S. nuclear weapons. In 99, he was promoted to the rank of corporal and reassigned to the infantry unit with the 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines, and 29th Palms, California. Received an honorable discharge in January of 2001. After his discharge, he was assigned to various commands in Queens County, spent his last 11 years as a New York City detective in the 115th Precinct Squad. After retiring in 2023, he started work as a senior investigator at the Queens DA's office. To Nicholas Walker, I would like to present the Queens District Attorney's Veterans Award and thank him for his service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to say?
Thank you very much, DA Katz. Mr. O'Brien for setting us up, all the elected officials and everybody for coming here tonight. It's a great honor. All the other honorees, I read through the pamphlet. You gentlemen are some true warriors, and I'm humbled to share this stage with you. So thank you very much.
Thank you. As you know, every year we try to honor someone from our office, my office, who is a vet and serving the county still by working in law enforcement with us. Next, we'd like to honor Dr. Noah Angeles. If you could join me here, that'd be great. Dr. Angeles is a military, and I'm moving it along because I'm worried about the weather, just so you know. Dr. Angeles is a military veteran who served as a sergeant in the U.S. Army Reserve in 2000 and 2008 and participated in Operation Iraqi Freedom from 2004 to 2005. As a sergeant assigned to the 595th Transportation Group, Noah participated in one of the largest transportation movements since World War II. Noah is also a recipient of the Army Commendation Medal and the Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal. Noah is a principal of York Early College Academy, a middle and a high school in South Jamaica, Queens. He's also an associate director of the Gray Fellowship at CUNY, Hunter's School of Education, and on the New York City DOE's Diversity Advisory Group to help integrate our public schools. He was appointed Master Principal of Military Instruction for the New York City Department of Education and is presently the delegate for the Military Family Advocate Initiative, a joint effort between the New York City Department of Veterans Services and the New York City Department of Education, which designates one person in every public school to identify and support military children and families. And so with that, I present Dr. Angeles with an award from the Queens District Attorney's Office on behalf of the Veterans Advisory Board as well. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'll be really quick. I just want to say that I'm receiving this award today, and I want to say that I'm receiving it on behalf of my family. My grandfather, Max, served in World War II. My father, who's here with me today, Daniel Angeles, served 2 tours in Vietnam. And so when we talk about legacy, my family has a legacy of service, and I honor that every single day, both in uniform, out of uniform, serving the kids of New York City public schools. So thank you very much.
I want to acknowledge Frank Galuccio as the district manager of Board 6, and Betty Bratton is here, I know, as the chair of Board 10. And if there's anybody else to acknowledge, Tony Nunziato got acknowledged by Bob Holden. I was going to do that, but he beat me to it. I want to welcome Chief Conforti, who's head of the investigators, works, the doctor, our honorary works for him. And if there's anybody else, I'm sure people will let me know. Next, we have, hold on. Captain Josh Ralph, if you can join me, I'd appreciate it. You have some bio. All right, Captain Ralph was born in Bartica, Guyana. He migrated to the United States in '76 and enlisted in the U.S. Army Reserve. Quickly rose in the ranks and became a non-commissioned officer where he received training in the 91C program and was assigned to the 815th Station Hospital in New York. Transferred to the 334th U.S. Army Hospital in Tampa, Florida. Graduated BNOC and was demoted to E6. I can't, hold on. Sorry. Captain Ralph graduated from the Helene Fuld College of Nursing and received a direct commission in the U.S. Army officer from President George Bush. He was assigned to 343/344 CSH, where he continued to serve with honor and distinction. He provided medical support to the Joint Task Force Road Building Project led by the Army Corps of Engineers in Alaska, supported overseas missions to Honduras and Nicaragua, provided medical and technical assistance there, and retired in 2010. Right now, he's in his civilian career, he's worked as a staff nurse at SUNY Downstate Hospital Neuro, ICU and Assistant Patient Care Coordinator. He is a member of several professional and community services. So I'm going to cut to the chase. He is here and married. He has been married to his wife, Sandra, for 13 years, who is here with us today. And I'd like him to accept this award on behalf of myself, my office, and all the veterans today.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you.
Good morning, all, and thank you to our DA for bestowing this honor on me. I'd like to say congratulations to all our honorees today, and I'd like to say congratulations to all members of the armed forces who are present here today, and especially to your families who had to endure all the hardships when you were overseas. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Our fourth honoree is Corporal Joseph Bellaciccio. Bellaciccio, how'd I do? Close? Bellaciccio. Corporal Bellaciccio. Our final honoree. Is it Sergeant? Okay, so Joseph entered the United States Marine Corps in 1951. He served in the Korean War, rose to the rank of corporal, received an honorable discharge in 1953. During his military service, he included Sniper School Sharpshooter Medal and a certification in food preparation on large-scale productions. That's good to know. I could use you in my house once in a while. I'm sure it's not easy feeding a whole bunch of people. As a civilian, Joseph, I'm just going to say Joseph. Is that okay? Or can I say the corporal? The corporal served on the board of directors for the Queens Chamber of Commerce for 20 years. He also served as a member of the Queens Village Chamber of Commerce for 10 years. Joseph Bellaciccio, community service also includes being a past member of the board of directors for the Queens Botanical Gardens, Flushing Boys Club, and Queens Economic Development. In '89, he was honored as Man of the Year by the B'nai B'rith International Jewish Organization, also a member of the 110th Precinct Community Council, and at the end of the day is a loving husband to his wife, Evelyn, for 68 years. I have trouble with 68 days. As well as a dedicated father to 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren, I present an award to Corporal Bellaciccio, and we thank you for your service and your continuing service to the people of Queens County.
I want to thank everybody for being here, and she's not mentioning Korea War though. Wasn't there a war in Korea? Okay. I'm not gonna make a big speech, but I want to read this here poem, "The Tribute to the Fallen," a poem written by Sherry Ball. I put my glasses on so I don't screw up. I do not know your name, nor which battle you died. I do not know your home, nor the tears that you cried. I do not know where you rest, nor promises broken. I do not know your uniform and your fears that lay unspoken. But I know your spirits exist, that your courage is admired and your sacrifice is honored. By each soul that you inspired, and so I offer you from my heart, thank you to guardians unknown, and offering yourself for all, that we may keep freedom our home. That's the poem. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for this beautiful, nice honor have gotten here. And congratulations to all the other honorees. And thank you for everybody being here. Thank you again.
I want to thank everyone. I wanted to make sure we got the honorees in before it rained. And at this time, we would like to pay tribute to those who have served in our nation's military and are no longer with us. Those of you that come every year know that this is a tradition of ours. I invite attendees to call out the names of the veteran who has passed. We will pay tribute to these American heroes with a moment of silent reflection afterwards. And with the announcement of the names complete, a moment of silence is observed, and then we will signal taps. So I am going to start over here. Whether you're sitting down or in the back, please yell out the person's name you'd like us to think about today. Just yell it out. Sorry.
Captain Ken Miller and Private Robert Foley.
Thank you, sir.
Staff Sergeant Frank Valentin. Sergeant Willie Burns.
Anybody else here? Go ahead. Sir? John Rowan. Okay.
Lieutenant Colonel Lance Williams, Afghanistan.
Tom?
Donald Boydell, career. First place now the World War II.
Okay.
Richard DeVasco, Miami, Florida, General Powell.
General Powell.
Alex Sandy, Fort Burma, World War II.
And I would like to acknowledge my uncle, my father's brother, Sam Katz, who was a pilot in World War II, and then he went and became a pilot in the War of Independence in Israel. Taps. I'm sorry, taps. Thank you very much. I please ask Alvin Chowdhury to come up and sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans with white foam. God bless America, the land that I love. God bless America, land that I love.
Please be seated. Thank you. Sorry, we have a benediction. Rabbi Kogan. Rabbi Kogan is with the Hillcrest Jewish Center, U.S. Army National Guard chaplain, Headquarters Battalion, 42nd Infantry Division, and he's going to offer the benediction, and I thank you.
Thank you, DA. Hashem Tsevaot, God of armies, on this Veterans Day, which is justly a tribute to all veterans of the armed forces, we turn our attention to those who still are in harm's way and those who have returned. Many are not physically wounded, but may bear scars nonetheless. Many are hurt, and we wish them physical recovery. We mourn others who have made the supreme sacrifice, and we acknowledge the inestimable loss felt by their families and friends. For the living, we offer our prayers for health and peace of mind. For the dead, we pray for their eternal rest. We ask you to bless us as well with the capacity to make a difference as they did for the betterment of our communities, our society, and our country. Please bestow over all of us your blessing of strength and peace. In the words of our Holy Torah, may God bless you and guard you. May God shine his countenance upon you and be gracious to you. May God turn his countenance toward you and grant you peace. Amen.
Now, please be seated. I apologize. So we want to do a special thank you to our Francis Lewis High School Junior ROTC. Always comes out under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Al Lahoud. We want to thank Pastor Matt Singh and Rabbi Kogan for the invocation and benediction, Alvin Chowdhury for doing the national anthem, and God Bless America. We thank you. I do want to give a special thanks to Darren Wilkes, U.S. Army veteran, who also happens to be an ADA as well, an assistant district attorney. Anything you want to know about elder fraud or elder abuse, he's the guy. And he's right there, and he's always in the community as well. We want to thank the New York City Parks Department for the great work that they have done. Again, we are going to work on those cameras. And I want to thank all of you for coming out and your special wishes as I walked up here. First of all, I'm very grateful to be going into my 5th year as the DA. Second, my children are great. For those of you, they're 12 and 15. My 15-year-old, I'm happy to drop him off whenever you'd like. I'll pick him up when he's 18. But you know, God has really blessed me, and I'm very thankful for that. And I'm thankful for all of you for coming out. You know, I could talk about the fact that murders are down 11% in the city. They're down 51% here in Queens County. Shootings are down 25% in the city. They're down here 36% in Queens County. I could tell you all the numbers. At the end of the day, that's really important part of what I do. But what's also an important part of what I do is making sure that we are in the community, that there is a trust that builds up with law enforcement, with veterans and with different groups and churches and synagogues and mosques and Goodwives and all of the religious organizations and all of the civic associations throughout the borough. It's an important part of what I do. We get a lot of referrals just by people being here today. Someone says, oh, I have a friend who's a victim of domestic violence. Is there anything you can do? Or human trafficking, or they think their son has a gun in the house. What do we do? I mean, we are in the community so that the trust builds. And so I want to thank all of you for being a part of that year after year. I look forward to a peaceful year. I look forward to peace in the world. And God bless. I'll speak to all of you very soon. We'll see you here next year, or Memorial Day, I guess it is. Let's hear it for Dan Brown again.